What's up, guys? On this one, we are back on the OBS, working on the wiring. I bought a dash harness, and I bought the wrong one, so that's cool. That's how it goes. Pulled all kinds of stuff out. I didn't have the bulkhead wiring, if you've seen that, so I got the harness pulled. That is the bulkhead wiring. The rest of it, for the most part, was there. But there was a harness for a 90 or 91 truck on Facebook for 20 bucks. So I was like, cool, I'll grab that. I have a 1990, that's my dash plug. And this is 91.5 or newer. It's the dial gauges or the lever or whatever you want to call it. I have the Moonies, which I really like. I know they're not, people say they're not the most accurate. I like the style though, so I kind of want to stick with that. And I don't want to convert it, so I am gonna have to find a new harness. So we'll move on to other wiring. We'll do wiring and fluids in this probably, and maybe a little more, but we're gonna lay the engine harness on. Cool, my camera's not focusing, that's fun. Anyways, we'll lay the engine harness on, see where everything lays, maybe throw some more accessories on, maybe we'll go grab power steering hoses if we get the accessories on. We'll see how far we get, but we'll get into it and get to doing some stuff. Okay, we'll get the harness routed. It's I'll probably order a standalone. I've had not great luck with cheap standalones though, Chinese junk harnesses. So I don't know what I'm gonna get. Just dumb stuff with stuff being pinned wrong, the alternator staying powered when you shut the car off, so you have to repin. Not super detrimental stuff for the price difference between a cheap harness and a good one, but I just don't like the headache. And this part has a factory reworked harness, and it'll work, but it's so bulky with the stock fuse box and stuff. I reworked my other one in the C10, and it's pretty slim. Doesn't have much going on. They did this one really janky. That's fine, it'll work. It'll get us running. So got it laid on here, trying to get everything routed now. So revisit you in a second so you don't have to listen to me struggle and get frustrated and everything else. Alright, we got most of the wiring pretty much routed how I wanted. Other than this will sit back further, it'll have that little tiny cover that goes over it. Fuse box will sit over here, battery wiring with alternator wire. I've got to figure out what some of this wiring was, what they had going on. I'd assume one's for fuel pump, and then maybe, I think there's two different sets of wires, 2 or 3. I assume fuel pump, fans, maybe 2 sets of fans. Rest of that's hooked up. And moving on to something else. Disregard where I said we were going to order a harness. We're sticking with our cheap startup theme. Seems like most of the OBS connectors are the same. There's a lot going on there, but we're gonna go ahead and cut that off, that bulkhead off, and splice together. So I'm gonna get a pin out and see what I actually will be using. I don't need a ton. Need, switch power and all that for the swap. But for the stock wiring, the biggest thing I need is power, obviously, to gauges, power to radio, and all that. And then I'll need output power going to my headlights and everything. But aside from that, I would think maybe half of that connector or so I might be able to not use. We'll see. So we'll cut that apart and I don't know, get to splicing and throw the dash back in. What's up, guys? This has been a real crappy video. I'll just get that out of the way now. I haven't felt like filming much. I've got something going on in my eye. We'll get into that in a minute. I think it came from a moldy truck, actually. But I didn't feel like splicing those harnesses, dash harnesses. I ended up cutting them and was going to splice it, but there was like 4 purples, 4 greens, a bunch of stuff that I didn't want. I didn't know what it all went to. I looked at some schematics, but I didn't want to like turn my wipers on and have my radio come on, or I didn't want stuff crisscrossed. So I went to the scrap yard and pulled a dash harness out of a 1990 super moldy, gross truck, and the next day my eye issue started. And now the ground's probably not hooked up. Anyways, we've got some stuff rigged up here. So engine's in, you saw that. Trans is in. This harness I'm going to start stripping all the ECM stuff, the stock stuff. We're going to have left hopefully like oil pressure, coolant temp, and then the AC stuff because I want that to work, but we should be able to eliminate most of that. I've got some janky corroded battery cables holding stuff together because I don't feel like running wiring and I'm not getting a good ground, but just trust me, dash harness seems to work. Stuff powers up. So anyways, trans is in, engine's in. I need to put a speed sensor in the trans because, and most of it dried up. There's a little, started filling the trans up, there's no speed sensor in the tail housing, and it just started spewing everywhere. So I got that. I'm gonna wire that in to the factory VSS. Hopefully I can get the speedometer working. Drive shaft, I got one from a stock C1500, so that's good. My brother-in-law had one, so we got that tossed in. Actually, I have to get a rear U-joint, but I got the yoke changed, the front slip yoke changed, and that on. Engine's got oil. I grabbed a throttle cable from a 97 truck or something, so that's good. We should be able to jankily start it today. Today's technically day 3.5. So I'd like to get it running today on its own. We need to hook up fuel lines still. This is a returnless setup. I've got the feed hooked up. I've got another rail with a return. I'll probably just throw it on. I'd rather just do that than have to get like a Corvette regulator or something, regulator and filter. Yeah, aside from that, factory standalone, I got to figure out some of that wiring. That ground's about to sit on the positive post. That's always good. Actually, that's positive. Never mind. Alright, anyways. Well, I'll get some stuff rigged up here and we'll get back to it. Alright. I've got stuff rigged up. All my constant and switched powers are just to 12 volts because I'm having a harness issue with the truck. But I want to hear it run before I proceed. I don't have fuel, but grounds are hooked up for the ECU and everything. Positives are hooked up like I said. ECU's hanging out there dangling, stretching the harness a little bit, making testing, making sure all the tensile strength is good on all the wires. Got my starter wire hanging out, doing nothing. So I'm gonna grab some brake clean or starting fluid or something, and we're gonna see if we can hear first fire. Alright, I think I have everything hooked up just wrong enough for it to start. Hopefully the transmission's in park. If not, the drive shaft's hanging out, so it'll just, it'll fling around, it'll hit the bottom of the truck and stuff. Not a big deal. A lot of stuff not plugged in. Some stuff is plugged in. Battery's charged. Got some gasoline. It's got a tear in the cap that should make it spray absolutely everywhere. So let's see what happens. Oh, so, that's fine. It's fine. Let's see. that because I don't have a fuel pump hooked up. I don't know why it ran that long. But let's go. That's a win. Heck yeah. That's awesome. Oh, I think some tranny fluid's coming out. Oh hey, didn't see you there. But now that you're under here, I guess I'll let you know what we're doing. We are looping the transmission cooler lines because I don't feel like buying hose because I already have a transmission cooler kit with hose on the way. So we're doing this today to get it moving. And because I've spewed about a gallon of transmission fluid on the ground, and I thought it was from my speed sensor. And then I thought it was because the drive shaft fell out. And then I realized I'm an idiot and I didn't hook up transmission cooler lines. So. Anyways, get this figured out and we'll be right back. Get rid of our leak and then we can let it run after I hook fuel up. And some other stuff. Alright, getting ready to do something I don't really want to do, but there's a lot I want to kind of change on the dually, so for now, this front end is going on the short bed. It's not great, not bad. Fenders are pretty clean, a lot of flaking on the grill and stuff, but it'll work perfect for that thing for now. I want to get a new grill for this. I might even go GMC front end. I'm torn. Sometimes I love the GMC front end, sometimes I love the Chevy. But regardless of all that, I need a passenger inner fender kind of to mount my battery and get everything running, driving how I want it. This I never finished. I started a video on all this and it just went to crap. So I'm going to take outer fender, inner fender over here, outer fender over there. I've already got a new inner fender. Grill, headlights, core support mounts. Got that core support to use. Disregard the mess. I just had a little incident. Started it up and it bumped into drive and hit my toolbox and some other stuff. So, you know, that's fine. It's all fine. But we're going to yank this front end off and we'll toss it on there. That way we can get wire and everything else up and finish that up. Okay. I got the fenders and grill swapped over from the dually. It's sitting over there looking pathetic. Not that it didn't already. That all swapped over fine. Headlights are in, not wired up. Little filler panel wouldn't fit with this bumper. I don't know what I was doing wrong or what the issue is. Okay, moving on though. Got everything kind of where I want it. This is why I wanted to get stuff off the dually, so I had an inner fender over here, and I want to get a new one for the dually. I actually want to get a new one for this truck and the dually, because they both have new driver inner fenders, and it just looks way nicer. And I could just paint this one, but there's some rust and stuff. Anyways, that doesn't matter. I've got positive ran for, that's going to be the starter. It's ran to the junction block right now. I've got a ground. I've got everything hooked up there. The interior gets power. It sends power out for ignition for the starter. I got that wired up somewhere. I don't know. There's a mess of wires. So I'm going to now get ready to start it and actually let it run for just a second, I think. But I need to figure out what he has going on here. One of the green wires was going to the OBD2 port on the Jeep, I assume for the 12-volt source. One of the reds is probably constant, one's probably switched power. Then there's another green, I don't know if that was tied in. So I get to strip his wire back, or his loom, Tessa tape. I get to trace that all back and see what I got going on. And then we just have to finish some stuff up for the first drive. Probably won't really drive it anyway, so I'm not really worried about the water pump. The idler is locked up. I need to throw an idler pulley on it. But I think we'll be able to get it to run, drive, and move. This is like day 4 or something. I had issues with dash wiring. 1 with having to pull that harness, and then 2, I wasn't getting power. Kept blowing fuses. Something was shorted out, or something was crossed that fixed itself by me just moving wires around. I didn't really do anything. So that may become a problem again. But we will get the wiring figured out and see where we're at. Alright, so I think everything's kind of, sort of, like at least 10% half-fast done to where it might start and run. The drive shaft has a couple bolts holding in the U-joint, at least in the back. Are we fine? Wiring is super janky. No coolant or hookup or anything. I've never tested anything, so if it moves and kind of stops, hopefully the brakes kind of work. I don't know. If not, you can see it, the load star's behind me, so I should be able to just go ram right into that and it'll stop me. So no worries there. But if we get it out and we get it driving and I can actually put it in gear, I don't have a shifter or anything. Should have hooked up that cool ratchet shifter. But yeah, if we can get it in gear, you know, we might putt around the yard a little bit, see what all's loose, what falls off, and yeah. Mostly I just want to back it out to clean, honestly. So I should just back it up a couple feet and stop it, and that's probably not what we're gonna do. So let's see what happens. Doesn't want to move in reverse. I think some of that fluid we puked out might have been useful in the engine, or in the transmission, or something. Alright, let me find a funnel, I'll get some more fluid in it if I've got some, and we'll see what happens. Off to a good start. It did want to move though. Alright, I had 2 quarts, probably not enough to do anything. It's got somewhere between 5 and 12 in it. It's fine, it's good for it, you know. You don't want to always have it full all the way, or that's what it'll get used to, you know. It's always going to want that. So, we're not gonna do that. Let's see if we can get some movement out of it. Oh, gross. Golly. Gotta be easy because we're running out of time with the no coolant in it, so that's never great. Probably way too close to the camera. We gotta putter out here and baby her a little bit, see what happens. It definitely moved pretty easy, so let's give her a go. Oh gosh. Forgot my camera was in manual, so you guys probably just saw only light, so that's good. Off to this video is gonna be a banger, man. You guys are really in for a treat. All right. Oh gosh, no. Oh crap. We got ground issue. I don't even know if you can see me if I'm in frame, but it was a ground issue. Alright, got a new ground bolt on there. That old one's pretty spicy, so I think that was the issue. Again, we got no coolant, no tranny fluid, so not going to be anything cool. We're just going to putt around a little bit. Also, that wasn't the issue. Man, what we got going on here? Who wired this thing? Brother. Well, these wires are tight. I don't know why it's not working. Stupid. Alright, take number 20. I think we might be alright. Let's see. Got a race truck. Wobbly. One's like a top. Probably getting a little warm. It's alright. Just testing. I'll tell you what, man, oh my gosh. Might not even have to paint that puppy. Got, you know, that's not quite, that's... Okay. That cleaned that up, actually. That looks pretty good. That's, I mean, this is 90% of Ohio farm trucks here. I got the wiring all cleaned up, especially over here. I was getting it all cleaned up. I think that was part of the issue. So that's all good now. Slap a hood on it. You won't even be able to see that. Yeah. So anyways, that was first drive. Is that exciting or what? I can't believe. I was gonna launch it here, but I didn't want to tear up my lawn. I mean, it would have done it. As you can see, it was running good. It was running hot. Not temperature hot. I mean, this thing was good tune-up in it. Anywho, man, that thing is just, that cleaned up good. Started cleaning up that door, and you can't even hardly see the old blue paint. That came back pretty good. All right, sweet. Well, that's gonna wrap this one up. It's pretty uneventful, kinda. You guys missed though. I technically had a first drive already, although I wasn't in it. I started it, and it popped in gear. It was in neutral. Must have been like in between or sitting right on it. There's no shifter in it, obviously. I said that. And yeah, I don't really know what happened, but it popped in gear and it lurched forward. You can see where we're sitting at here. I don't even know if you can see me on camera. Sorry. Anyway, lurched forward and about took me out. I got out of the way. It ran into my engine hoist, ran into my toolbox. That was all sorts of sideways. I got a big Craftsman box. Yeah, it was pretty good. So we technically had a first drive already. So I knew the transmission worked. It's looped, so that's good. It should be getting warm without me doing this stuff. Getting up to temp. That's all good. So I appreciate you watching. I'll break down the budget either beginning of next video, or I'll put something at the end or the beginning of this one. I think I've got a little more in it right now than I wanted originally, but we still have to scrap the Jeep. Still have to sell the shifter and the hood and stuff if, you know, it sells, and if not, I'll keep the shifter for something really cool and throw the hood in the scrap pile. But that was a success. We're under $1,000 still in the whole thing, regardless of not selling anything else. But I think we'll be pretty close to the 500 mark, and then if I can sell some other stuff, I'm gonna get rid of these wheels and tires to get other wheels. They're not anything special, but we'll get the price down, and then we can start really getting into it, and the budget will go away because it'll be getting a new bed, new cab corners. I'm gonna stick with these fenders and get new fenders for the dually. We'll sand it all down. I'm gonna start sanding it probably today, actually. I might start on another video. But I want to get the bed sanded down and stuff, and probably just go flat black, same as the fenders, to make it more presentable if I want to run to the parts store or something for now, till I really get tearing into it. We'll get it running correctly, get everything dialed out, get an exhaust on it, and get cooling system routed. It's got no belt right now, so it's not charging, just running off battery voltage. So we'll get fans wired in, cooling system plumbed, belt on it. I've got 20 belts laying around. Power steering isn't hooked up. That's super easy. You can use a stock line and then a stock fitting for the return with a piece of hose. I think I've got a vacuum leak, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. So we'll get those figured out. But yeah, appreciate you guys watching. Sorry this video is kind of all over the place and sporadic. I had multiple things going on the last week and a half. And yeah, but thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.